You constantly drop in your farmer's walks. There are so many strongwomen athletes out there that feel as though they have the foot speed to get a good time on the farmer's walk, but they just can't keep hold of it. You're constantly doing pickups and you just smash your back, and by the time you get to the end, you're thinking, wow, if I could have just held on to this, I'd have been so much faster than everybody else. Well, I'm going to teach you today how to build a perfect 8-week training phase that's going to help sort your grip out, and I'm going to talk you through the reasons why you want to do certain things so that you're able to build not only your grip's strength potential, but extract it to its fullest so that you're able to utilize it in comp and get the results you need. So I'm going to be building the program today in the MSD Systems app because it's absolutely boss and it allows you to do so many different things to get the results that you need and the specific sports performance that you're looking for. We're going to go into build custom program, we're going to go into off season, and we're going to be mainly delving into 2 days on the program builder today. The deadlift and assistance and the move day, which is day 2 and day 4. So we're going to start on the deadlift assistance section. We're going to hit accumulation. We always want to build a general prep that we would have on pretty much every day and just use the MST Big 5 mandatory prep. This is just going to set you up for your session, build some good resilience and open up positions that are kind of mandatory, in my opinion, because Strongman will give you similar dysfunctions and mobility restrictions due to the training you do. So the Big 5 is designed there to kind of basically stop any issues from happening. Prevention is better than cure. You don't want to be doing rehab, you do prehab. Anyhow, movement prep for the deadlift. We're going to go down, we're going to hit grippers, pinch grip, and king deadlift. Now, this protocol here is a protocol that does give you, the athlete, a lot of ownership over the grip work that you do, but it's a habit that you're going to do prior to your deadlift session, and it's going to enable you to build the strength potential of your grip. So strength potential, what do I mean by that? So basically, when you're doing farmer's walks, you're just squeezing an isometric contraction. Isometrics tend to be better at extracting the strength that you've got access to. So they don't necessarily, they do help build strength, but there's a limit to it. You need to always do concentric eccentrics. You don't just do isometrics on anything else. You don't just do isometrics on deadlifts or squats. You would do full concentric eccentric movements. So the grippers movement prep here is going to get you using like captains of crush so that you're training your hand through a full range of motion with the concentric and the eccentric. And it's going to help build the potential strength in your hands. That way, when you're doing your farmer's walk, when you're extracting that strength, you're going to have more to play with. So the grippers movement prep there is going to basically give you guidelines as to how many sets and reps to do with your grippers. So whether you've got captains of crush, gods of grip, strength shop's own grippers, whatever it is, you can basically use this prep and take a little bit of ownership around it. And it just gives you rep ranges, guys. So it'll say 6 to 12 reps. So basically, once you get into 12, you need a stronger gripper. Get another gripper. You might be working in the 6 to 9 range for a few weeks. You'll get up to 12 eventually, right, buy a new gripper. So it's very simple in terms of its progressions, but it's there in the program builder for you so that you can build a habit prior to your deadlift session. Now, in terms of building your core, hamstring, foot control, deadlift, etc., we're not going to delve into that too much because we're just going to be talking about the things you can do to build your grip. So when we get into the back assistance, we can pick really any back assistance, all right? So I'm going to go with a CAS pull down here. And then on the horizontal assistance, we'll go for a chest-supported dumbbell row. And bicep isolation, again, we can pick any of these because I'm going to talk to you about what we're going to do as our habit. So I've selected a few of my favorite movement patterns here on the app. So I've selected a CAS pull down, a dumbbell chest supported row, I've selected a axle curl, and I've selected a hammer curl. Now what I want you to do on this session to help you grip is going to be using a fat grip. So I want you on your back assistance, vertical, horizontal, and bicep isolation exercises, I want you to wear a fat grip. You can get fat grips extreme or just the normal fat grips. I would say to just go with the normal fat grip. You don't need to go too crazy because the load will end up dropping a little bit too much. The reason for the fat grips is going to turn everything into a pinch grip. So we're going to be building a different type of grip strength. So not only have we got our squeeze and crush strength that we're going to do in our farmer's walk, we've taken care of our concentric, eccentric with our grippers. We've now added in long exposure to pinch grips. Now the reason why this is such a good habit to do is because think about the people that always have the best grips in strongman. And not just people that have trained, but people that just come in off the street and start doing strongman. It's always people that have a job that they tend to use their hands with, a little bit of manual labour. The grip responds extremely well to a fairly low stimulus with high volume and frequency. E.g., if you're a brickie and you're carrying bricks around all day and you're just walking them from A to B, there's a lot of reps and sets, if you were to call them that, but there's not too much load. In fact, the load doesn't necessarily change day to day, it's just bricks. But they have absolutely monster hands, monster forearms, monster grip. Farmers, you get them coming in the gym and they just have crazy grip. Like the amount of farmer strong boys that I've seen up north that can come up and do farmers walk, and it takes them 10 seconds to pick the farmers off the floor because their actual deadlift strength's down. But once they're up, they could walk 100 meters with it because their grip's so strong. So what we're trying to do here with this habit of fat grips and grippers at the start of the session, we're trying to give you some really low intensity stimulus to your hands and to your forearms, but something that you will do as a habit every single week so that it just becomes the norm. For example, your hammer curls. Fat grips now, whenever you touch a dumbbell, there's fat grips on. We're going to help the strength potential of your grip, and we're going to do it very subtly so that it builds up every single week, and then we can get into the specifics of the farmer's walk in the next session. So once we've built this session and we've signed the contract with ourselves, we've made a deal with ourselves that if we touch anything on back assistance, vertical, horizontal, or biceps, we're using fat grips. We've signed the contract, we've made the deal. That means that we've already set ourselves up for success with our grip because we're going to be doing something that you weren't doing before. Then we're going to go into the move section and we're going to focus on our event number 1. And we're going to go to the farmer's walk. I built a phase for the farmer's walk. This one here, the vice grip long distance farmers. So this phase is literally built and designed to complement all those things that I've just put on session 2. Now it is worth noting that you can actually add farmer's walk to session 2 as well. So if you wish to just have one session that was fully focused on this, you could assign this as an assistance to the deadlift. But personally, I think that frequency would be better. So it'd be better to do some grip work on that day and then assign the vice grip farmers to another day instead of accumulating loads on that first day, especially because you're going to be dealing with a little bit of fatigue as well. So you do your grippers, you're going to have fatigue into the farmer's walks, then you're going to have fatigue into your rows and you pull down and on your biceps. So I would say to put this on a second day would probably be better, but there's no wrong answer really. You could definitely put it on the same day as well. But the goal here with this farmer's phase is that we're going to be exposing you to longer distances that most people do not train when they are programming their farmer's walks. Most people just do 20 drop 20 as their longest distance. They would assume 20 drop 20 is far. In fact, I'd go as far to say most strongmen and strongwomen just train 20-meter runs or sometimes 10, 12, drop 10, 12, because a lot of strongman gyms are, have short runways. This here starts you off at 100-meter runs. So you're exposed to extremely long distances. There's a lot of time under tension on your grip. And instead of it being a foot speed focused phase, it actually tells you in here, don't focus on walking as fast. Plod. More time under tension, more exposure to holding the farmer's walks are going to elicit a better adaptation and response in the grip. So we want to do that during this phase. This phase is the kind of thing that you would run in an off season when you had a little bit more time before your comp. Ideally, you would run an 8-week phase of this, and then you might get more specific in your next 8-week phase. Because obviously this phase isn't focused on foot speed. So you're going to be plodding a little slower, spending more time holding them, accumulating lots of distance. But at the end of this phase, as the distance drops, as the phase goes on, you're going to end up doing 40-meter farmers runs, extremely heavy. By the time you get to week 6, 7, 8, especially running that first day session with the fat grips and the grippers, etc. But by week 6, 7, 8, you're going to be smashing PBs for very long distance. Also, the thing I love about this phase here is by the time you get to, let's say your competition had a 20-meter run. If you run this 8-week phase first and then you start running 20-meter work afterwards for your competition peak, it just feels like nothing. It just feels like nothing because you're just so used to going 3 times as far that 20 meters just becomes, it's just not very daunting. It's not very intimidating. And in fact, you actually will start to enjoy the longer distance work. So you'll be extremely surprised how much strength you're going to be able to extract if you did this phase, and how much it's going to build your strength in your grip and your farmer's walk when you get to the lower distances you see in competition. So I'm going to select this phase here. In terms of other stuff you could do on this day to get your grip going, I would not do anything else, because that phase has a lot of volume in and distances you will not be used to. So the first couple of weeks will be a bit challenging to adapt to. You'll be very sore after it. But after you adapt to it, come week 3 and 4 and 5, you're going to be getting into good strides and building amazing strength in your grip. So if this phase sounds like something that will fix your grip, which it should do, because if you've got crap grip, these two things paired together are just amazing. They complement each other so well, trust me. Make sure you check out the link in the description. Go to the website, get the 7-day free trial. Build this phase that I've just built. Add other stuff in as well. You can build the full phase. Add specific press day to fix some press issues. Add some deadlift phases as well, some squatting, some more overhead work. Get your shoulder stability in there as well and hip stability so you stay nice and healthy with your good movement preps. But add this phase in and you're going to help build that grip strength potential and then be able to extract it afterwards for your competition peak. 7-day free trial. $29.99 a month after that. So you can try it for a week, make sure it's good for you, and then you can continue and run your full 8-week phase and make sure you get absolute vice grip.